The only nice thing is that when the zombie outbreak happens, I won't have to worry about running really fast because the drunks will be the first ones to go. Welcome, everybody. My name's Tom Carr. I am the host of Residual Hauntings Revived and a zombie hunter and survivor. Joining me tonight, helping me is, of course, Jess and Russ. They're my are we recording now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Jess and Russ, the video recording?
Yes.
Jess and Russ, my co-hosts on the show. We do a show each week that's geek-based, horror-based, whatever we feel like talking about each week. We seem to talk a lot of zombies. So this was kind of my idea, this panel, and we did it last year at Conduit, which is a sci-fi con here in Salt Lake. So I wanted to try it with some new people and see if we can come out with a better determination. Because last year we decided that Lindsay Lohan was the reason why the zombie outbreak happened. So let's see if we can come out with... Yeah, well, like we said, you have to understand, when you bite someone, you're not just biting them, you're biting everyone they've bitten. So we're going to go ahead and go down the line.
Hello, my name is Stephen Booth. I'm the publisher at Genius Publishing, and I'm also the author of The Hungry. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's doing very well, and I hope it continues to do so, and I'm happy to be here.
My name is Dana Fredsty, and I have a book coming out called Plague Town, which I can actually show you because my nice boyfriend in the Utilikilt is running down.
Mighty nice legs, by the way.
He's got great legs, yes.
Why isn't every man wearing a kilt is what I want?
You know what? That's
because they didn't have him in my size until about a week ago.
So this is coming out actually on Tuesday with Titan Press, and then we also we have Hungry for Your Love, which is a zombie anthology that he's in, and our friend Hal Bodner is in.
Oh, good.
And
Way to go, Hal.
yeah, way to go, Hal! And I'm delighted to be here. And Stephen and I are going to do a signing together next Saturday. At
Saturday the
Dark
7th
Delicacies.
at Dark Delicacies in Burbank. Yes, Burbank, California. Yeah.
Hi,
That's Yvonne.
I'm Yvonne Navarro. I've written some novels and stuff, and I've written some zombie stuff. My latest novel is, I might have had a wee bit of wine. My latest novel is Concrete Savior. It is book 2 of the Dark Redemption series.
Awesome.
On to Weston.
Hi, I'm Weston Oaks. Think of my name as a trailer park or a nursing home, Weston Oaks, where people go to die. I'm on this cover because of my zombie novel, Empire Salt, which sold out in the U.S. in 6 months, but it's still available in like Estonia and Australia because they read slower.
I have that shirt.
Tell my wife that.
You have to admit the late night panels are the most fun. Yeah.
This is probably the latest panel I've ever done. So I'd like to start these off with just a real quick. Does anybody have a really quick question they want to ask right off the bat? Because usually that doesn't get to. Most people don't get their questions asked. Anyone?
I do have something very topical and very geographical, which is very particular to Utah that I think is very important.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, one of the most important things, and I actually confirmed this with the bartendress downstairs, but she has this herself, is that well, the fact is if you have a map of all the Mormons in your neighborhood, and you should, because they have to have a 3-year supply of food. Think of this. They have a 3-year supply of food. You don't have to go shopping. The Walking Dead, there's no going to the store. I mean, come on.
As a Mormon, I want to add one thing to that. We are very well armed. And we're all really damn good shots. Because we know the map is out there.
The odds are that there's one Mormon who didn't get the ammo.
I might like to add that I have around 6,000 or 7,000 rounds for each one of my guns.
Do not go to his house in the zombie.
And yes, I am on the map. Yeah, I'm on the map.
You also need to understand the one who doesn't have the weaponry has probably already become one of the zombies. So it doesn't do you a whole lot of good.
Oh no, it's good because all you have to do is go in there shooting and then eat their food.
Right. It's an all-you-can-eat thing. Can you get in and eat and get out before they eat you?
I have spent 28 years in the military. I think on this panel, I'm probably the one who could do it.
Okay, this is a really great idea if you live in Utah, but say you're in San Francisco, that is not going to be me personally allowed to do.
If you're in San Francisco, the gun laws, you're in trouble. I'm sorry. You're going to have to find a gang.
Oh, I ordered some.
There's a reason why my book takes place in Nevada and not California.
Nothing against California. I love California. Yeah.
So, has anyone done a zombie in the Bronx book?
Actually, there are a lot of zombie books that are set in New York because the whole concept of an outbreak happening there with that population all smushed together is
Yeah.
you're all screwed, basically, is what they're saying
Yeah.
in these books.
Another reason why I
Critical mass.
live in Utah.
But you know, I would love to do a mashup of like Saturday Night Live and zombies. I think that mashup has to be done.
Saturday Night Dead.
Yeah.
I've seen a few episodes recently. And I'm going to say it is Saturday Night Live Dead. Yeah. It's like the 82 to 84 years. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Let's talk a little bit about preparedness. Obviously, what are some of your guys' ideas of being prepared for a zombie outbreak?
Besides the map.
Besides the map, of course.
Well, let me just say, it's not the house we're in now.
Well, there are 3 words that everybody needs to know. Fields of fire. Okay. From each window, you have to have a range card, which is it could be a piece of paper. I like the 5x8 range cards because what you do is you draw a picture of all the things that you can see from the window, and then you draw a picture of where each one is out from your house in meters, so that you know which weapon is most effective where the person is. I mean, come on. You might like the 45, but the guy is 50 meters out, don't fire at him. I mean, wait till he comes in closer. Instead, grab your HK-416. I mean, come on. I mean, so range card at every window, train, practice, repeat. Next.
We all have those options.
You do?
Not in California unless you belong to a
Yeah,
gang.
unless you're in California.
Yeah.
I'm all about the food. I like to eat, so I really, really advocate a well-stocked pantry.
Or knowledge of nearby Mormons.
Yeah.
You are fixated on the Mormons.
Yes,
right?
I-
Just
Works.
saying.
It works. It's proven. Well, I can't tell you that.
As he sits down there pounding down the wine at the end of the table.
Yeah.
No, I have to admit that ever since I was a child, a well-stocked pantry has made me feel secure. And I have carried that into adulthood, and I really like Costco, so I recommend Costco in advance.
I actually think the best place to go during a zombie outbreak would be a Walmart. Think about it. It's got the big barred and the entrances. They've got all the supplies. They have their own generator.
Lots of glass.
They have lots of camping supplies, lots of food.
But think of the idiots.
That glass is plexi. Have you ever tried to accidentally break
Attacked by the
that?
zombies from Walmart. Do you want to have your picture on that website being killed by the zombies from Walmart?
Brand new website. The zombies of Walmart.
The
Yeah.
zombies of Walmart.
Okay.
Those are most of the employees.
Once,
Actually, I think Costco is a good idea. I think Walmart has too many entrances, but Costco really.
Costco's like a big brick.
Or a Sam's Club, things
So
like
I
that.
think Costco is a better idea. But I think you had it. I never thought of that because like there are only 3 Costco's or 4 Costco's per big town, right? But they're like 4 Walmarts.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, you can also well guard it because you can get onto the roof. You've got supplies that you need. And if they do break in, you can climb on top of the shelves and work your way, an emergency exit way out of there.
That's a good idea.
But you can do the same thing in Costco, and there's less of a
wait a
chance to
second.
break in.
Wait a second. I don't understand the siege mentality. I mean, I understand that, that if you're in a place where you can't get out, you should have food and ammo and supplies. But what's wrong with getting in a car and driving away?
Have you not seen The Walking Dead?
I have not seen The Walking Dead.
Really?
Seriously. No, Harry has been beating me up. Harry Shannon, my co-author.
Stephen Booth.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
I don't have that channel, and I'm sorry. I spend most of my time doing other things.
It's called illegal download.
Oh, there you go. No.
No.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, if you're stuck in a place and you can't get out, that's a problem for you. If you're mobile, if you can get away, then you can shoot from from outside out the windows of the car. As long as you stay mobile, you should be in a lot better position.
But if you can't,
What you guys need is a Costco at sea, which is what I did in one of my stories.
Costco at sea. There you go.
And then if you get really hungry, you've got the Krusty Burger on the oil
There's nowhere to
rig.
run on a cruise ship.
Well,
You run
the
around.
thing is, okay, what she was saying though, let's just say that you're stuck at home. Let's just say that we can't go off in fantasy land because we all know that the zombies are going to come and that we have to be prepared in real life here. Okay, so if you're at home, I look at it as like mega earthquake preparation where you have like, okay, say we have 13 cats. And no, we're not crazy. We just have 13 cats. So you have to have enough food for yourself. You have to have enough food for the cats. You have,
Don't the
you have to have,
The cats become food.
No, the cats do not become food in my house. No, I'm the sort of person, I'm Ripley. I would go back for the cat, okay? I'm just saying. So anyway, you have to have, I'm going to finish this. If we're all in a zombie apocalypse together, it's going to be every man and woman for itself. It's going to be kind of funny.
Or cats.
And anyway, you have to have, what she was saying, you have to have a lot of stuff already stocked up there because if you're stuck in your house, you're stuck there. If you can't get out, you can't get out. So you have to have that. You have to look at everything as a weapon. If you don't have guns, and yes, I do have one, even though I do live in San Francisco, and I'm not going to say if it's legal or not, but I've got one. Right. But, you know, anything can be a weapon, and you have to learn to look at it that way. So
I think there's something else that you also need to understand, and this is how prepared I am. Not only do I have my food storage, I have what's called a bug-out bag in both of my vehicles that have at least enough food for 5 days. Do you guys know what a bug-out bag is?
It means you're ready to run.
It has
that's what
in
we're
it.
talking about.
I've got enough food for my wife and our kids in one bag in her car. Plus we have paracord, we have first aid kits, we've got blankets, things. Yes, I am a little obsessed about the zombie outbreak because, you know, I think it's going to happen. It may not be eating brains, but there's going to be something happen. No, I'm not on the map.
Not on the map. Now, I take this more to the curiosity stage because I figure I'm not going to worry about getting out of my house. I'm going to worry about things getting into my house. So I figure I'm just going to get a 55-gallon drum of the chemical they put in the bottom of the roach motels and spread across my front lawn so I can sit back and actually watch and see how long it takes a zombie to start.
I think that's a fine idea. I like that.
Yeah. Some other thing.
I think my problem is that I'm more willing to believe in a zombie apocalypse than I am to believe in the fact that a person with 13 cats is not insane.
And they're
It's called animal rescue, my friend.
and they won't eat them.
I appreciate it. And in Arizona, we have a source for that. It's called the Great Horned Owl.
You know, I have to say though, living in Arizona is actually a good place to live for a zombie outbreak because the skin rottens faster there. And so they're going to be crawling a lot quicker. Now here in Utah, the only thing we got is the freeze. Hopefully it will be cold enough that they'll freeze.
No, I disagree. In Arizona, I think they're going to mummify and they're going to walk longer.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
We have the Bonneville salt flats. They'll mummify here a lot faster.
Okay. What's going on,
Yeah.
Jason?
The mummified ones you're going to have to watch out for.
With your bug out bags in your truck, I'm actually from Arizona as well, and you guys get a little bit of heat up here. So so how do you deal with the heat in regards to storing?
I rotate. Every 3 months I go through the bag and just rotate the stuff.
Yeah,
We have a lot of food in there also too that's the freeze dried.
Yeah.
Life insurance is a on food site.
MREs.
This stuff lasts for 25 years. It's got a 25-year shelf life
I want to
as
point
long
out
as
that
it's
he's from
kept.
the Mormon Tactical Zombie Response Team, so
Yes.
it's unfair for him that he's like even talking because he's not representative of the whole
So
population.
Weston, let me ask this: since you're my neighbor almost, I mean, so like, what do you do as far as like storing in the heat? I mean,
I don't.
And will you let?
I get my stuff from my neighbors
Yeah.
because I will survive and they won't.
Yeah.
And in San Francisco, we don't have to worry about that. It's a perfect temperature to store things. So even though we can't have guns, we can have food.
And lots of cats.
And lots of cats.
Yeah, it's very important.
You know, I think moving on here, some if we can. Hey, this is the second zombie outbreak panel I've done. This one's just as good as the first. Zombie outbreak teams. What's your theory on this? A group of 10 or 15 people that can meet together, gather their resources together,
Well, if you
and
look
then
at the
defend.
Special Forces A team, right?
Yeah.
You have a medic, you have an explosives expert, you have an intel guy who also does commo, and you have two weapons guys, right? Heavy and light weapons. I think that's like the perfect template. You know, you have those guys, and then they can then go out and do their own thing and take care of everyone else. Now, of course, there's going to be the hangers-on, the guys who are like, oh, please save me. Oh, I'm not so good. Well,
He's so empathetic.
you know,
Never shoot anybody in the leg. Shoot them in the head. You don't have to worry about them
you know,
turning.
we probably have to save them because I mean, we're Americans, and that's who we are. I mean, we're always for the underdog, so we have to save those people.
Do you relate to Shane in Walking Dead? I'm just asking.
Shane is democracy.
By the way, he's dead.
No,
I know.
So is Dale.
Best thing to happen to that show ever.
If Marty died, it would be the best thing to happen to that show ever.
No, but I do think the greatest hero of popular culture in the last 10 years is Michael Chiklis.
Yeah.
What's your choice
Okay,
for
they know.
non-gun or just hand weapons?
Non-gun?
Yeah.
It's this little
Machete.
thing that doesn't stick
You
in
know-
the skull. You poke him in the skull and it comes right out.
What is the
The
fireman's
crossbow or
weapon?
just a bow?
Like the picky thing.
Yeah, the fireman's weapon.
The
thingy box.
Harmon tool.
Yes, that's what I want.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
that big.
Or the machete.
No, a
you
machete.
take the head
The
right off.
machete is the non-firing weapon of choice because if in my universe, if the head comes away from the body, there's nothing that they can still chomp, I suppose, but they're pretty much immobilized. You know, if you destroy the brain, the machete goes through the skull. It makes a lot of sense. If you don't have weapons, which apparently some of us do,
Some of us have way too many.
but some of you have way too many. Exactly, the machete is the perfect weapon.
Now, my point is that I'm not really too worried about my hand weapon because I'm not going to let them get that damn close. One of the things that drove me nuts about Zombieland is the double tap. If you're a good enough shot, you only need one bullet.
But most people aren't.
Yeah, but let's
Yeah,
face it,
most people are
aren't.
not.
They're not.
That's why I have a small little group of people who are going to get together that know what they're doing.
Now,
Okay, the ping cheat.
if you could fire using an Xbox, everybody be an expert. I mean, we'd all be like experts. I mean,
Have you not seen Sons of Guns? They've got that remote-controlled machine gun on top of the SUV, and they use a PlayStation controller.
is that,
Oh, do you see?
Yeah, it's pretty seriously.
I know the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
After you're out of bullets, what
then I'm sad.
I actually like the katana. I prefer the katana, a real katana, not one you're buying off the internet for $39. Okay, one that stays pretty sharp.
You don't like Toledo steel? Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. So a real good folded katana, at least a 500 fold katana
On a Harley.
on a Harley.
There you go. See, that's the mobile.
Man after my own heart. There.
What's your policy with automatic versus revolver?
Oh, two.
Reloads.
Yeah,
Reloads are
you know,
problem.
I carry an XDM 9mm. Carries 20 rounds. Plus, at any given moment, I probably have 300 rounds on me. So I'm going
Do
to
you
take
have them on you right now?
I'm not allowed to say legally, but I have a permit, so I can. I have a permit, so I can.
Yeah,
but no, I honestly think the automatic.
But there's a factual study that the automatic has more. I don't know. It can jam more than the revolver.
I think that depends on who's using it too, though. I mean, if you know what you're doing, I clean my gun.
If you're firing 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 200 rounds, it's going to jam because you're not
I run
stopping.
100 rounds through my
you
gun
gotta
once
stop
a
and
month.
clean it and go,
Well,
okay,
it's
I'm
like
done.
if you have a blade, you have to sharpen
They can
your
because your
blade.
wrist is in the
I
wrong
mean,
position.
whatever
I run
weapon
100
you
rounds through
have,
my gun a month.
And
It's never
there's also
jammed.
speed loaders for revolvers too.
Yeah, and I have a backup revolver that I usually carry as well. But I like the 9mm because I can get it's inexpensive ammo for one,
It is. No, it is.
and at 147 grain hollow point, I don't care what anybody says, it's going to stop something. And not only that, most people are all, well, I've got my Glock 40. Okay, you go ahead. I'll be able to get my 9mm ammo a hell of a lot easier.
40s I hate.
Yeah, I hate 42. But no, I like the handgun. The revolver's a good point. But if you take care of honestly, if you have a gun, you better know how to use it. 2, you better take some training. 3, you better take care of it.
So
If you don't know those 3 things, then you shouldn't have a gun.
what's the best shotgun to have?
I have a semi-automatic 12 gauge that
What's
holds.
the best one to have?
I like the Mossberg 500.
I like the
but-
Mossberg. I have just an inexpensive no-name brand.
What's that?
That runs pretty well.
I mean,
Everyone raise your hand if you have a gun.
Everybody raise your hand if
This
you have
is a
more
really
than
good
two.
place to be if the zombie apocalypse happens. I'm just
More than
saying.
I'm gonna. Apparently, I'm one of those hangers-on.
more than 10, keep your hands up.
If you have more than 5 cats, put your hand up.
More than 10 guys, keep your hand up. More than
Oh, I'm
12
happy.
guys.
If you have more than 5 cats, raise your hand.
I only.
They're very vicious. They attack. They got fangs like that.
Okay, but I only have two
Pointy,
words.
nasty teeth.
I
Yeah.
only have 2 words for cats in a zombie outbreak. Ah, zombies.
Good point. Good point.
I'll take 5 cats. It's good eating.
That's protein.
As far as weapons go, really though, I think being prepared for one thing, your food supply is really important. Your family's important, obviously. Those are the things you want to be prepared. One of the things that bugs me about most of the zombie films and TV shows that I've seen is it always seems like the ones who aren't prepared are the ones that survive.
Yeah, right.
It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like, I'll take The Walking Dead for a perfect example. They're sitting on the freeway, they have all these cars, and it takes them 2 episodes to start searching the vehicles? Come on. There is no law, okay? You've got to build your own law. You've got to survive however you can. You're stripping every house you can. And training is important, but also understanding that you're in an environment now where there is no law.
Unless your young children wander free.
Carl, Carl is not in the house.
Sophia, where's Sophia?
Yeah, where's Sophia?
But that was Lori's fault.
There might be a bunch of idiots. How many idiots?
I have to say another thing that I did like in 28 Days is they captured a zombie to see how long the zombie would survive. We don't know.
Very scientific.
Very scientific. What is your what's your guys' theory on not okay, the zombie apocalypse has happened, we're several months into the zombie. What do we do now?
Well,
How long before they just rot away?
it depends on the mythos behind the zombie, the reason for the outbreak. I mean, depending on whose book you read and what movie you see, some of them say the virus has changed their the rate of how they rot, so they're going to rot really slowly. And then Max Brooks says they're going to rot and they're going to freeze in the winter, so you can go and chop their heads off. So honestly, we're not going to know until we get hit with it, because who knows whose zombie apocalypse theory is going to be correct until that happens. So.
And then there's
How is it going to happen? Chemical warfare?
I honestly have broken down.
Manipulation?
I've broken zombies down into 3 classes. There's 3 types of zombies, as far as I'm concerned, from all the movies that I've watched, all the books that I've read. You have magical zombie,
Yep. Waiting for that.
you have chemical zombie, and you have extraterrestrial zombie.
I vote chemical.
And I honestly think that most likely it's going to be chemical if it does happen. Now, each one of these have a different way of fighting. If it's a Necronomicon or a magical zombie, you got to kill the magic user before you can kill all the zombies.
Deadites on zombies.
If it's a chemical, you're probably infected yourself and you're just waiting to die and turn into a zombie yourself. So the best thing to do is just live as long as you can, be as happy as you can, and move on. If it's alien, kill E.T., take over its ship, and go to a different planet as far as I'm concerned.
I
There's
prefer
that mobility again.
My novel is based on the government conspiracy that
It works for the government.
well, I do work for the government, so not that I'm writing nonfiction. It was really fiction, and it takes place in the Salton Sea of California, which is like a no man's land.
Yeah.
Salton Sea is a very scary place.
It's very scary.
It is.
There's lots of like grasshoppers.
And it's like built for a zombie apocalypse.
Totally. I agree.
Mostly.
And it was based on the premise that the government had a secret program to take PTSD patients from the war, to take them in on the idea that they were going to be cured, and actually turn them into persons who could work in near space orbit construction.
Oh, okay.
By
What's the name of the
kind
book?
Kind of killing them
Empire
and
Assault.
reanimating them, and of course they escape.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
actually, yeah.
and the apocalypse ensues. Now that's Blood Ocean.
That's actually a really good concept. I haven't, I've heard a lot of military testing. I work in a hospital, and I'm forced to take the flu shot, which really annoys the hell out of me, because I think that's how it's going to happen. There's a little button somewhere in a White House somewhere, and they just got to push that button, and boom, we're now undead. So my wife loves me enough that if I turn, she's going to pop me in the head one. So that's how much
love.
my wife loves
That's
me.
love.
Here's my question to everyone in the audience. If your wife, son, daughter, loved one, cat turned into a zombie, would you cap them in the head?
Yes.
In a heartbeat. Yeah.
Oh,
You have
that's a
good
good
chance of survival
point.
then.
So here's another thing about Zombieland that bugged the crap out of me. They're in the grocery store. My sister's been bit. Bah! What? What? That just bugged the crap out of me. Well, we're gonna wait. No, she's been bit. Okay, she's gonna be a zombie. What are we waiting for?
Well, I think the reason that they didn't do that is because they're really trying to balance the humanity and the angst that someone creates, and the idea of killing someone outright. Because if the movie or the book,
I agree,
or the book is about zombie dead, somebody's dead, I just kill him. Well, it's what Mad Max or Death Race 2000.
and you're
really
right.
Doesn't have a plot where all of us can relive the idea that, okay, if my daughter becomes a zombie or my wife becomes a zombie, then what am I going to have to go through? So I think that although in real life that might not be as real, I think that it's necessary in fiction and film.
No, and I agree.
Because we need to carry our readers on this journey with us.
And I agree with
And I
that.
said that as I was being eaten. So I applause.
In the best way.
And not every film can be George Romero with a political point of view. It can't.
But I think I
Or
do
Irishman in
think the
Delaware.
Zombieland. I do think the Zombieland, which I think you can and don't like as much as
No. Zombieland is number 3 on my top 10 zombie
I think
list.
the
So
Zombieland really did touch us in a way by making the idea of surviving popular, whereas before it was more redneck.
I agree. I agree with that. Number 1 is Night of the Living Dead. Number 2 is Shaun of the Dead. Number 3 is Zombieland. Number 4 is Aw Zombies. Number 5 is Fido. Number 6 is Brain Dead. Number 7 is my brain is
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Number 8 is Undead. Have you seen Undead? The
Yes.
Australian
Yes.
or the New Zealand
Zombie
Undead?
fish? Yeah.
The zombie fish. Number 9 is Evil Dead, and number 10 is Bloodbath. Zombie Bloodbath. It's a Todd Sheets movie. It was done in the 80s with one of those old camcorders you sat on your shoulder. It's extremely horrible, cheesy, bloody, gory, great zombie guts film. And you can get most of them. I think you can get all 3 of them off of Netflix now. There's actually, it's Bloodbath, Zombie Bloodbath.
No Fulci movies?
Zombie
He's
flesh
in the
eaters.
he's in there, but he's in the time.
Zombie versus shark.
Zombie versus shark. Versus
Absolutely.
shark. I will agree, those are great. But when I judge my zombie movies, it's not just the blood and guts. There's the humor involved as well.
Zombie
I've
versus
seen some
shark. I
great
repeat
zombie movies
myself.
without
How
the
can you
humor.
not laugh at that?
What's that?
Topless scuba divers.
I've seen Dance the Dead. It's a good one. It's a great
Woman
one.
with splinter going to her eye, not holding her hand up, just letting it go into her eye instead of going, wow, there's a splinter. I could knock that aside with my hand, but instead I'll just scream and let it pop into my eye. Yeah.
I have to say,
I love
Aw
that movie.
Zombies bumped Brain Dead, which is pretty impressive. If you guys haven't seen Aw Zombies, you've really got to see it. It's a zombie love story.
You mentioned Fido, and I want to ask, who in this room has not seen Fido? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay.
No, I haven't seen it.
Let me tell you a little bit about it, and then you guys are gonna get it. Imagine a 1950s, or 1960s. It's perfect, right? Where it's like a Eddie Haskell universe, Leave It to Beaver universe. But what you do is you have zombies who are your maids and butlers and whatever. And it's all black and white, right?
No, it's in color.
It's in color.
But they use the soft color like they did from the old TV
feels like
shows.
black and white. And it's basically
Polarized black
it's
and white.
basically a boy and his
Yeah,
dog.
polarized.
It's a boy and his dog.
It is. It's a great,
Boy and
great
his dog.
story.
It's old Yeller as a zombie, and I gotta tell you, you watch it, and it's so smart. You're like, why didn't I think of that?
And you go out and you buy
Brilliant.
it.
It's just great.
Yeah.
It's old Yeller as a zombie.
Yeah.
I've seen Dead Set.
I've seen Dead Set. I actually have Dead Set on my laptop. Excellent series. I thought it was well done. We may be. We both have really beautiful hair. And another reason why I'm ready for the zombie outbreak. You notice I'm the only bald one up here.
Don't be in one here, man. Come on.
So do you
I
think
love
that
your
all of these
chops,
movies
by the
that
way.
we watched, my question, since we're off topic, all of these movies that we all love and watch, do they actually prepare us for the apocalypse, or are they just setting us up to die horribly because we're going to believe what these movies say?
That's a good question.
You learn from other people's
I
mistakes.
learned from Shaun of the Dead, a bar is not the place to hide out. Now you guys may like the bar.
Saved by Nibbles?
Saved by Nibbles.
And Twinkies will keep you going.
Yeah.
There is a shelf life on a Twinkie. I have found this out. Obviously, I've had a
So
few
they
share of
claim.
Twinkies.
Scientific.
Scientific, I've studied that.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts or questions on
Yeah.
how to survive? I mean, we're just going to sit up here and blather because this is during the party where everyone is drinking. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
This young lady's like,
Yeah, Jess will get going and it'll be over.
Linda has a question.
So I'm new with this, and I just had like a flashback to Twilight Zone and like the war and the what's the thing underground that people? I'm sorry.
You're thinking of the Twilight Zone episode, the last
Bunker?
man on Earth,
No, what's the thing underground?
the bomb shelter.
Oh, yeah.
So what's wrong with the bomb shelter?
Nothing.
Nothing, other than the fact that if the filter gets clogged by a zombie, you're screwed,
And there's no escape.
and there's no escape. Have you seen Planet of the Apes?
Son, you have SAS.
Okay, is it Return to Planet of the Apes? The ones that lived under the mountains in the bomb shelter and the old subway, they kind of turn a little crazy.
Yeah, they get a little mutated.
Yeah, a little
Do you
mutated.
think that's better than just a little around outside?
I honestly think the best.
Outside's better.
I think outside's better because you can move around and you've got natural resources.
There you go.
Never go into a place where the only exit is the place the zombies are coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
The best bet is probably to get enough guns and supplies and get to a area in the wilderness where you can survive and be self-sufficient and make it. You don't want to be in a populated former city or where a million of your former neighbors are zombies.
You mean like the American Indian point of view?
Yeah, it's time to get back. You better get your foxfire.
One of the things also.
Plateau, well-defended.
So San Francisco would work again. No, another good thing that people Alcatraz. You know what though? Okay, I'm also a ghost hunter. I'm a paranormal investigator on Wasatch Paranormal Investigator.
Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, there's no way in hell you'd get me to stay overnight in Alcatraz. I've done it already. The place is pretty haunted. Actually, I'd probably do it now,
Seriously,
but 20
if you
years
had a
ago.
choice between being eaten by zombies
The end
and
of
like
the
having to
world.
deal with
The end of
ghosts,
the
you'd
world
go
is
to
by
Alcatraz.
zombies. Is it the ghosts or the zombies you're more afraid of?
Yeah, seriously.
The zombies, because the ghosts are just really cool.
Okay, so then you will stay there.
But no, there's one thing that people don't understand about a zombie outbreak. It's not the zombies you also have to worry about. It's everybody else that survived, who have the maps of the Mormons.
All of the fundamentalists and the biker gangs are gonna make it. You know it.
The biker gangs, yeah.
And everyone has got their own manifesto. So yes, you got to watch it for the crazy humans when it comes to zombie apocalypse.
I don't think I want to survive if I'm the only one left.
You're right. You're right. You know, what are you willing to become in a zombie outbreak, right?
And then that's one of the.
I'm the guy that
I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, right?
Is
I'm from
that so
Chattanooga,
if you do
Tennessee.
get turned, you just
I'm
don't
from-
care?
I'm from 30 miles away when they filmed The River, which is filmed up in Chattanooga River, right? This is me. I can go with that mentality. I'm a redneck at heart. I do this, right? But see, are you willing to change your whole way of being in order to survive?
That's a very good point.
Well, are you ready to give up your humanity?
Have you guys seen? Is it Surviving the Outbreak, or it's on the Discovery Channel? It's a reality television show.
Oh,
I remember the
one
colony.
about the nuclear war. The
The
colony.
colony.
Yeah. Oh,
The second
that freaked me
season.
out.
Yeah.
The second season, there was some sort of outbreak, and I have to say, one of the things that I loved about that is that there was the Hispanic guy that was in there. He said he gave supplies to a woman and her child, and he said, "You know what? I'm a Christian. I believe that's what I'm supposed to do, and by doing these things, I think I'm going to be blessed." So we have to keep that humanity,
People
and I
make those
agree.
decisions about themselves.
We have to keep our own personal beliefs. Now, if you personally believe that their best idea is to go ahead and just shoot somebody in the head and then take their stuff, best luck to you. But
Yeah,
then we
You're not
also
gonna be
help.
very popular.
If it happens, and let's say you go to like BYU, right? You have the ROTC program, and then you have everybody else, right? All the instructors, all the professors, you know. Who's going to be more able to protect themselves? Brigham Young University.
The man with the Mormon baptism.
I have it right here. You know, the fact is that those folks who
I'm not on the map.
espouse, I don't know, a less than violent profession, right? They now have a problem. So what I recommend for each and every one of you, make friends with that neighbor who has the big wheel tires, who has the gun rack, and you know who has like the bass sticker in the back, because at the end of the day, you know, a few beers and a couple bottles of scotch given his way is going to make him say, "Hey, I ain't going to kill you. I'm going to kill that guy over there. You want to join me?" And you'll be like, "Hell yeah."
You know, I'm going to say something else, and then we'll get to your question here. As a Mormon, we don't drink alcohol, but I have alcohol in my food storage. It is one of the best bartering systems in the world. Think about that.
Very valuable.
Very, very valuable. People don't think about that. There was a book that came out in the late 70s called Lucifer's Hammer. Did anybody ever read it?
Yeah.
One of the first things one of the main characters did is he went to the liquor store and bought it out because he knew it was going to be a great barter system. Great survival
Stores
book
very well.
afterwards. It's not a zombie novel, but it's a great survival one. And go ahead, we'll get your question.
Chris, go
I
ahead.
think that during the zombie apocalypse, especially if we're dealing with runners, I think that the roads are going to be overrun. So if you got survivalist stuff in your car, I think it's good to have a backpack full of a few days worth of supplies.
And that's what our bug out bag
Bug out
is.
bag, yeah.
Bug out bag, yeah.
Yeah. That's what my bug out. I have a bug out bag in each of our vehicles, and we have a bug out bag in our front room. I better not keep telling this because we have a couple of bug out bags in the house.
You're going to be on the map now.
I have to say that map that he's got is actually the non-Mormons. We tricked people.
Those are the Baptists.
Yeah.
If you do have to go somewhere, where would you go? If you had to travel,
The desert.
Well,
the desert.
hold on. Who are you running from? The other humans or from the zombies?
Yes.
Both. See, if it's the zombies, I'd go someplace where there's lots of flat, where you can see everybody coming. That would make a lot of sense.
Fields of fire.
But fields of fire. Thank you
Fields
very
of
much.
fire, yeah.
But when there are other humans coming after you, they can see you and they're more actively coming after you. So I'm not certain that the open field would be a good choice.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I mean, if you have to deal with a mixed bag, as it were, then yeah, maybe your siege mentality makes a lot of sense. No, I think you should just, you know, the guy with who was saying the big tires and the gun rack and the bass in the back, get in the car and go. Walking Dead notwithstanding, you know, that's still my best bet.
Here's another good idea. There are a lot of historical, old military forts that are well maintained. A lot of them have their own generating system because of the government.
Yeah.
Another spot that people don't think of. It's not your average place. You can defend it, you can build, and you can farm inside it because that's what they did when they were forts. A lot of other things that people don't think about is seeds. You're going to eventually run out of tomatoes, and you're going to run out of cans. You need to know how to garden. Having a home garden, even if it's a little one, is a good idea to teach you how to do it. How many of you guys know how to grow tomatoes in a garbage can?
Oh, yeah.
In a garbage can.
Man, I have a lot to
potatoes in a garbage can.
I just want to point out that if you know where 5 Mormons live, you have 15 years survival.
And if you live in
And a lot of ammo.
I've actually wanted to hole up in because I'm not a Mormon and I do drink alcohol. There's some really wonderful wineries out there that are like
Yeah, there you go.
fortified with caves.
You know, that's
There you go.
another. That's a good.
Stone
No, that's a
buildings,
really good.
yeah.
That's a really good point. They've got the caves. They've got that.
everything going
The
for
cellars.
it. You can get your supplies in there. You can bring in friends, fertile soil.
That's a
Usually
great
they have
point.
gardens.
I didn't think of that.
I've got it all planned out.
I would
So as long as you remember to
about-
rotate the
about
bottles every
zombie
6 months, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, so the sediment doesn't.
I'm sorry.
Do you guys think that?
Number low.
Chris, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Do you guys think that everybody would have the same idea, try to get on the countryside, try to get on somewhere that was deserted? Or
It depends if they are on this panel or not.
Well, in panic, they all just jam packed on the
I think a big chunk of the population thinks that the zombie outbreak's just a joke.
Well, yeah.
And when it happens, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. And here's the other thing that I don't think people don't understand. There's a major epidemic going on. Where is most people going to go when they're sick?
Hospital.
Which is the worst place to go in a zombie outbreak. Do you want to know one of the safest places to go?
McDonald's?
A cemetery. The bodies are 6 feet down, and they ain't coming out very easily.
Unless it's Mark Rogers the dead and
Yeah, okay.
he's out.
Yeah, okay.
So, again,
also-
it depends which apocalypse we're talking here.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not really worried about the other humans because they're going to become the zombies. You know, there's two populations. There's the living and then there's the dead. Where do you think that the 500 zombies coming down the road are coming from? They were the living a couple of days ago or yesterday or this morning or whatever.
They're not the living who were under 60.
Yeah, that's right. They're the ones at the hospital.
They're gone,
Yeah.
they're dead, they're done.
Yeah. So the zombies have got to come from somewhere. These are not magical zombies who are popping out of the sky, you know.
They're freshly dead.
Well,
I think there's going to be a mix.
What's that?
Unless they're the
Less of the aliens, exactly. Yeah, precisely.
So I have a theory on what you just said, where they fast or slow. I think the zombies in 28 days were the chemical ones. Are going to be
They're
the
not
fast
zombies.
ones.
They're not zombies. They were just infected humans. And
Infected
they
humans, so they're going to be the fast ones. The slow ones are going to be like the extraterrestrial kind of thing. I think that's where the difference is. A lot of people confuse the 28 days. They aren't really zombies. They're not undead. They are just infected humans.
I was thinking Night of the Living Dead versus remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Okay. I think the reason why that they did that is because the fast zombies are just cooler. And that's the reason why they changed it.
clotting has to be an issue.
Scary.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, and you think about that too. I mean, you basically aren't. If you look at the way a zombie's built, they're no longer producing blood, so those muscles are going to tighten up, and they're not going to be able to move as fast as they do. Whereas in an infected human, it's the rage virus is what it is. So
It depends.
I put way too much thought into zombie outbreak.
Yeah, but there's so
Tad.
many books and movies out there right now with so many different theories on how they come about and how their physiology is affected. You know, that some of them, again, say that whatever virus it is that's infecting them slows down their rate of decomposition. I mean, honestly, okay, this is a zombie outbreak we're talking about. We don't know. It's going to happen, and we're not going to know. If they're fast, we are all screwed. Let's just face it. If they're fast and
And I want to say, if you really truly,
It needs energy. It needs energy on the most basic level.
and now
Where is it getting the energy from? It has to consume
The
itself.
sun.
the
Zombies
sun.
are solar.
Yeah, exactly.
Solar.
They're-
Wait.
Never mind.
I like the solar zombies. No,
I want to say,
zombies.
I do want to say something here about the ultimate preparedness. Really, we have no idea if something's going to happen. We really don't. We've had rolling blackouts, we've had tornadoes, things like that. And as much as I've joked about zombie outbreak, and I sound like I'm overly prepared, I'm overly prepared because those things could happen. Not a zombie outbreak, but natural disasters, things like that. Earthquake,
that whole
anything like
CDC thing. Remember when the
CDC
came out with the zombie?
a really good book, and
package?
Wes, you can help me with this. The Army Survival Manual is a fantastic book, and they update that like every 4 or 5 years,
And
don't
they
they?
did a zombie one too. Have you seen that one?
The zombie one is okay, but it's more of a joke. But the Army's survival manual, you can get them online. You can download them now for free. Is a really good thing to have in your home, just for the simple fact you never know what's going to happen.
But don't get it on your Kindle because the battery will run out.
Unless you're like me and you've got solar powered batteries that can charge your USB devices. You had a question right there in the back in the blue shirt.
I was just going to say it doesn't matter if they're fast or slow, you shoot them in the head, they fall down.
The only problem with that is that I'm going to need a machine gun if there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fast at loading my gun,
And
but
even if
when
you're
I
not
only have
fast-
3 mags, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, seriously, if you have like in the remake of Dawn of the Dead, if you've got this like horde of several hundred zombies running at you and it's just you and one gun, you're dead.
You're dead.
Or you go inside someplace.
I may add that I have
Save less
refused to see
bullets
the
for
remake of
yourself.
Dawn of the Dead. Just saying.
Do you guys think that chemical walkers could actually take over the planet? Do you think they would actually be able to do that?
I think eventually, if it actually happened, it would get to that point. If you look at the CDC's website for infectious disease spread, it only takes 5 people to spread it, and it takes, I think it was 6 months for it to spread across the entire continent.
And when you say chemical, are you talking
virus.
It depends on how
virus?
fast we catch it.
Yeah, well, he's
With
got
most
magical
CDC
chemical
Chemical to me
theories,
implies, like,
I know, like,
it's one
I know,
person
I know.
traveling from another country, and as soon as they're in an airport, let's say JFK,
How bad can you possibly be?
they've infected 5 or 6 people, and those 5 and 6 people are going on 5 or 6 different flights. They've infected. Just like I said, remember, when you've been bitten by a zombie, you've also been bitten by everyone that it's bitten. So I think if there was, it's possible because the CDC is pretty prepared for something like this. The CDC has a great website that teaches you not only what to do, how to do it, and where to go. Now, the last thing I would suggest is do not follow FEMA. Okay?
No.
Don't listen to FEMA because you're going to be trapped in a giant football field with a bunch of other people that are infected.
But they will give you a trailer.
Yes. Yes.
Someday.
Any questions? Yeah.
I would just like to say, Weston, you've been to my house, and you know that that's the place to go.
Are you ready?
I am.
It's a,
It's-
it's a
Okay.
good
Where are
place.
you?
I got 5 acres.
What's your
I live
address?
out in the middle of nowhere in California.
Okay.
It's fenced. I got a greenhouse. I got wells. I got generators.
So you're saying you're Herschel?
No, you are actually. That is a really good point. I'd love to get to that stage myself.
The only problem is that drug dealer lived there before you, so you will have the traffic of all those guys coming back.
And what do you plan on storing in your barn during the apocalypse?
No. You have extra food to barter for the women.
You know what I did
Or
the
alcohol.
other day, actually?
You guys are all screwed.
I
I'm
went to
sorry.
eFoods Direct and had them send me one of their sampler packs.
eFood Direct is a great one.
And it was pretty good.
There are a lot of great food storage places online now, and they're not too inexpensive. There's also the bucket. You can get a bucket of food. I can't remember the name of the company right now. If you guys come out and see me,
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Costco does that actually. Costco
yeah, it's a
does that.
bucket that's got enough food for one person for 3 days. It's like $100.
Yeah.
And it's a really good deal, and you can buy like enough, and it'll calculate. It'll tell you exactly how much you need to buy for your family to survive 6 months. Yes, again, I'm really overprepared.
And another thing, Weston, there's a giant Mormon church across from my house.
See,
That's it.
Which is where they will all congregate and turn into zombies.
I would like to flip the panel for a second.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd
go
like
ahead.
to flip the panel for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're all authors, right? So
Apparently.
let's pretend that the zombie apocalypse isn't going to happen for a few more days. Let's pretend that we actually write books and we go to bookstores and people come there. So let's talk for a
Crazy
second.
cool.
Let's talk for a second about some of the innovative ways to get people to come to bookstores, right? With like a zombie thing, right? I'd like to say that every major city has a zombie walk.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they do,
So,
yeah.
so in my first zombie book signing, we had the zombie walk, walking through Barnes and Nobles.
That's a great idea.
And,
that's awesome.
And they were, they like chased away all the cat fanciers. I'm sorry. Who were like, I mean, really the cat fanciers because they were like right there at the cats.
When my cats rip your
They
flesh
walked up
off.
to them. They walked up to them like
I'm
this.
sorry.
And they were in full makeup. full makeup, like 20,
One of them
30
was
of them.
actually
It was
chewing on a
brilliant.
copy of his book.
And the thing is that each and every one of us, we can get in contact with the local zombie walk because they're all a charity.
Yeah.
And all they want is to get attention. And if they have a zombie author in town, they can do it as well. Also, if you're at a Barnes & Noble, nowadays what they like to do is they like to multitask. So what you do is you contact them and you say, not only will you make money selling my book, but if your cafe that you have sells zombie-related cupcakes and food, you'll do really well. And
Green.
Raspberry sauce
Anything with
drizzled
green.
down the sides.
I didn't think of this, mind you, but what happened with me is that we had a very smart gal in Yuma, Arizona, who ended up getting promoted to Phoenix Metro, where Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was filmed. She came up with the idea of doing this, and they had like blood sodas and like brain cupcakes and all those other things. And the guys in the cafe had a great time making
raspberry
it.
sauce coming out.
And you know what it did is that it's like every 5 minutes they were announcing the fact that they had these specials and that there was this.
And there was a
we sold
zombie
more
author.
books than they ever sold in their history. So there's a really cross promotional opportunity
There-
with zombies because it's so popular.
Hey, here's another really good idea. I have a good friend of mine. He's written his second zombie book, The Zombie Uprising. He had some friends do a YouTube video with the zombie people walking to promote his book based off of a chapter from the book.
Nice.
And it's only 4 minutes? Maybe like 4 minute long. But he got more hits because of the YouTube video than he did from his Facebook page. Because it was and it didn't cost him a lot. There are a lot of local makeup artists in your area that are dying for exposure.
Yeah.
Contact them and say, hey, you know what? I'm more than willing to, even help out a cost with the makeup. If you'll do it, we'll get the volunteers. You do the makeup. We shoot the video, and then we'll put your name in there, and you'll get that exposure. And they can use it as part of their reference as well, reference, but part of their resume as well. So we have a very good friend of ours who is just starting to get into the makeup, and he's trying to learn more. Find somebody who's doing that. Go to the haunted houses. A lot of these haunted houses are actually doing more than just October now. We've got 3 haunted houses here in Utah that do Friday the 13th. They open up. They do a spring thing. Those kids that are learning how to do makeup, they'll come and do it for free just so they can have the practice. So there's another great opportunity as well.
Nice.
We are running out of time. I want everybody on the panel, just go ahead and just plug your books one more time, and then...
My current book is Blood Ocean. It's a post-apocalyptic fiction novel that takes place up the coast of California. The world has ended, so only a couple survive. It's not zombies, but there's a lot of deaths. So.
Death is good.
Death is good.
And that's cats, and then you're doomed.
Yeah. As long as other people's death.
There's some copies downstairs.
I have a dog in here.
We like dogs.
This is Concrete Savior, which is the second book in the Dark Redemption series. And it's about, the whole series is about an angel who escapes from hell and decides that she has made a bad decision and wants to try to find redemption. It's not kind of as squishy-cushy as I'm making it sound. Too much wine. Try it, you'll like it.
The wine or the book?
The book.
Both.
Both. The wine.
Book with wine.
White Infidel, barefoot.
This is Plague Town. It's coming out this Tuesday. I'm going to have some copies for sale tomorrow during the signing because Random House is kind and sent me some.
She clearly had less wine than I had, so I tried to give her some.
No, I'm from San Francisco. We handle our wine differently there. And our guns and our cats.
And it is Utah wine.
No, actually it was from California.
Oh, okay, good.
This is being, they're promoting it as Buffy meets Walking Dead, and I'll just leave it at that. And then this is an anthology that is the first zombie romance anthology out there, and it's
Does
just
this not have the coolest cover? It's an awesome cover.
And this will also be at the signing tomorrow night with my fellow author, Kilpatrick, back there, and Hal has gone off somewhere. I don't know where he left. And
Once again, this is The Hungry, and
that's my copy.
it's her copy. I'm going to sign it for her, I promise, but I get to play with this for just a moment. The Hungry takes place in Nevada. The military is messing around with the super soldier virus, and it just doesn't work out as well as everybody thinks. And the main character is this young lady here on the front cover and with the wedding dress. She's the local sheriff, and you get to find out how she gets into the dress by reading chapter. Well, I won't tell you. You'll have to figure it out on your own. We've got a sequel coming out in July, where it's just in, my editor is just about done editing it, and it's going to go to the proofreader, and then we've already got a cover for it, and anybody who wants to see the cover can come up and see me afterwards.
And where are you signing next week?
We are signing at Dark Delicacies in Burbank, California, because that's the place to sign. So there you go. There's your book, Beth. What's that? The sequel is called The Hungry, The Wrath of God. So, which makes sense if you read the story.
And we're Residual Hauntings Revived, and I actually do have a book as well. It's on the paranormal. It's called Talking to Yourself in the Dark: A How-To Guide to the Paranormal. It's kind of a humorous look at ghost hunting. I actually break down how to be a ghost hunter, but I put a lot of humor into it. I self-published it, but I've hit almost 400 copies sold now, so I've done pretty well with it. We also, if you are authors here and you're interested in coming on our show, we like to do little 5-10 minute interviews that we'll be broadcasting on our show on Monday. Our podcast averages around 2,000 downloads a month. We've got a pretty good following. Just come over and see us. We're here all weekend. We're also doing a paranormal panel on Sunday at 11, where we're going to be playing some of our EVPs and some of our showing some of our photographs, if I can get that worked out. So we love talking to ghosts. I've been involved in the paranormal for almost 25 years now. So, and thank you guys. It was a great panel. And I'm very happy that Lindsay Lohan wasn't the reason for the song.